Hello and welcome. In this video, I will be going through the format to construct a Band 9 answer in the IELTS writing tests. And the example that we are looking at in this video will be test 1 from the IELTS General Training practice textbook number 17. So let's get into our example. So the first task that we are going to address is the writing task 1, and in the general training exam, writing task 1 will be a letter. It can be a formal letter or an informal letter or a semi-formal letter. In this example that we are looking at an informal letter where you are asked to write to a friend. The question says your English speaking friend who lives in your town has asked for your advice about learning a new sport. Write an email to your friend. In your email, recommend a new sport that could be suitable for your friend to learn. Explain how your friend could learn this sport. Suggest that you both learn this sport together. Write at least 150 words. You do not need to write any addresses. And they also say that you should begin the letter by using the salutation dear. So there are 3 points to be covered here: recommendation of the sport, how the friend could learn it potentially, and suggest that you wish to learn the sport together, and write at least 150 words. So usually in any writing test, if there is a range or if there is a word count given, you can usually write within that range. For example, if a writing test says write 200 words, you can write between 190 to 210 words to be appropriate. But in the IELTS exam, it's always better to exceed the word count given. It's not that the examiner would be counting each word in your answer one by one to see if it's at least 150 words or not. As long as you're covering all the points sufficiently uh, with reasonable use of the language, you should get a good enough score. But I would always encourage writing at least the minimum word count prescribed, which is why they say at least. So let's get into the answer. So I have given a name for my friend here, George. So dear George, hope this email finds you well. I am glad to hear of your move to Millbrook. So this part of the answer here would be my introduction. And since they say that your friend has moved to a town near you, or who lives in your town. So in this case, I'm just building up a small context of how my friend came to live near me. So I'm assuming, or I'm just making up the fact that he moved to my town recently. So that would be my introduction. And moving on my last visit to the supermarket, I came across promotions for a fencing club that has opened in town. Lessons are being offered for $99 a month. Since you have been a fan of the sport on TV, this could be the perfect opportunity to test the waters for yourself. So here I am recommending a new sport that would be suitable for your friend to learn. It says suitable for your friend to learn, so I'm giving the context here that he has been a fan of it on TV. Therefore, he it would be a perfect opportunity to test the waters for himself. So by using the phrase test the waters, I am trying to depict my knowledge on lexical resource, on the use of lexical resource. This is something that the examiner looks forward to. Your range of vocabulary should be good enough to warrant giving a band 9 score. So this is one of the examples that I have shown the examiner that I have a deep enough range of vocabulary or lexical resource. And get this, they are offering a discount of 50% if you bring a friend, which is a good opportunity for me to try it out as well. So here I'm covering the last point, the third and the last point. Suggest that you can both learn this sport together. Then the lessons are offered in groups of 10 and each lesson is for 2 hours. They also offer videos on their websites which members of the club can watch before they attend the in-person sessions. As you would like to have an overview of the activities you would do before you engage in them, this feature would be beneficial for you. And if you uh, take notice, I have already covered the 3 points in the first paragraph itself, or the first half of the essay. But we didn't reach our word count yet, so I still have to keep writing to expand it a little more. And what I do is I call back to the second point that they say again in this paragraph that I just read out. This paragraph over here. So recommend a new sport that would be suitable for the third point, explain how your friend could learn this sport. So here I am giving some context about how the friend can learn the sport, and I'm using this point to write and expand my letter even more. So what I'm essentially saying is the club is offering some videos on their website which the friend would find useful. So that point further reiterates the third one, how the friend can learn the sport. So finally, I am concluding my letter as I have addressed all the points that the examiner has required me to do. Let me know if you are interested and I can sign us up. And I end the letter with warm regards and a sign off. So since this is an informal letter, I can use warm regards or kind regards. If it was a semi-formal letter, which you would write to someone that you do not know too well, but not unfamiliar with, you can end with yours sincerely or yours faithfully. And in the case of a formal letter, in which case you do not know the recipient at all, you can use yours faithfully. And our letter has a word count of around 174 words. So you can see that just in this bite-sized letter, I have managed to write 174 characters or 174 words. And we have addressed all the points that the examiner has required us to as well. So this is an example of how you can use your imagination. So basically this answer is to, or this example is to show how you can build up a story to answer the question in task 1. And throughout the example, I have depicted my lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy as well by using phrases such as test the waters and get this. For example, since this is an informal letter I'm writing to my friend, this phrase and get this, they are offering a discount of 50% emphasizes on the informal tone of the letter. And finally, and finally I would like to mention that the letter does not follow a linear format strictly, because I did address all the points required here, the 4 points, uh, 4 or 3 points here itself, but I just call back to the third one or the last one again here as well. So that could be an example of how you can keep writing and fill in the word count when you do not have enough ideas or enough ideas to reach the word count. So let's move on to task number 2. Here, here you will find an essay in task number 2, and it's longer than task 1 because you have to write at least 250 words. Let's look at the question. In the future, people may no longer be able to pay for things in shops using cash. All payments have to be made by card or using phones. Do you think this will happen one day? Why do you think people might not be happy to give up using cash? Give reasons and examples from your own knowledge. So this is a signature move that I use, or signature opening that I have, which is to write an introduction uh, by calling back to the question itself. As technology revolving around the payments, revolving around payment methods and systems are constantly evolving, it would be interesting to pen a few lines on whether or not cash payments in future would be a feasible option. Moving on, I have used an example of a country and how that country has or is moving away from the use of cash payments to highlight my opinion. So this is an opinion essay that in future, yes, that countries and people will be moving away from the use of cash to paying by card and mobile phones. So in China of today, receiving payment in cash even for the smallest of mom and pop stores is unheard of. This is because in 2018, Chairman Xi Jinping introduced new laws that called for expansion of the tax base and curtailment of money laundering. This meant that cash payments were discouraged. These laws mandated that payments could no longer be received in cash, and the noodle kiosks at every street corner found themselves going digital. So this paragraph, the first paragraph or the second paragraph after the introduction, is speaking in favor of in favor of moving away from uh, the use of cash, but through the use of an example. Then, while China has moved away from cash, use of it in many countries are still relevant, and it's not just in the developing world. Even in Canada, it's not possible to walk into a plaza and see a few cash-only outlets. This is because the financial system is less regulated than it should be. So here I am stressing on the other side of the argument that people are not actually moving away from cash. And now I'm giving my rebuttal over here. However, this may not last indefinitely, as new legislation, when we least expect things can change, could make these practices illegal. Therefore, I expect cash payments to come to an end in the foreseeable future. So here I'm giving my opinion that even though cash payments are still around quite a bit, they can be on the decline, and they might not be here to stay forever. So in this so far we have addressed, do you think whether cash payments will be replaced by mobile phones and card payments? So we have addressed that here, and next we are going to address why some people might not be happy to give up using cash, and also the examples from, or the reasons from our own knowledge. However, those who are skimping on taxes will be disappointed as it adversely affects them. Those who deal in cash are most likely trying to dodge taxes, and that is the reason that we are giving why people are not happy to give up using cash. Further, older generations who are used to dealing in cash all their lives will find it cumbersome to switch. So that is another reason. However, younger folk who are spotted using tap to pay at checkouts and are enticed to online shopping, those people who are used to or affiliated or use online shopping more, for them this will not be a deal breaker. So here again, once again, I'm giving the reasons and why people and on the other hand, some people are who despite the number of people who are not willing to give up cash, there is always a growing number of people who are switching over to other forms of payment. So in my conclusion, I say, to sum up, cash payments are declining on the whole, while those who are unhappy of the move will still adapt begrudgingly. And I'm emphasizing in my conclusion is that it's a callback to the to the opinion that I have already expressed. Uh, I expect cash payments to come to an end in the foreseeable future. So here I'm saying that even though there are still those who are not happy to give up cash, they will eventually adapt to the changing situation. And you can see again in this example, I have depicted the use of lexical resource and grammatical range and accuracy. And this answer is also not in linear form, uh, because I express my opinion not at the conclusion but somewhere in the middle, and then in the end I call back to that conclusion, reiterating it. As you can see, even though it doesn't follow linear, it doesn't follow a hard and fast linear format, it is still a well constructed and good flow, has a good flow to it. The answer has a good flow. This is 273 words, which is about the 250 word count. So thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please leave a like. I also have the answer in my Quora space IELTS Band 9 answers. I will provide the link for that in the description. Thank you for watching.